All right, cool. Thank you very much for joining me, Nina. So if we can just start off, can you share, just share a bit about yourself, or let's just go right to it. Can you talk about like some of the struggles or challenges that you had before we started working together?
Well, I guess one of the biggest ones was feeling like that other shoe was going to drop. So we got rid of that. That was a tough one because I'd always had it. So we got rid of that. And now that's not even a factor anymore. Having lack of support at work. And once I started working on how I was showing up, that changed. What else went on? There was a lot. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, can you tell me more about the feeling like the other shoe was going to drop? Like, what was that like initially, and how did that change?
That there was always a feeling. It's like there's always something bad that kept showing up in my life. And then when I worked on it, that feeling went away. And it's like, even when there's disappointment, that feeling doesn't come up, which is huge. It's a great relief. Plus, I'm putting more inner joy into my life. So I'm having lots of fun at work and wherever else I can put it.
And yeah, when you talk about that, I mean, I know the answer, but just for like anyone who's watching and listening,
Yep.
like how prevalent kind of was that feeling like the other shoe's gonna drop, and like what was the impact of having that feeling kind of lingering all the time?
Oh, you're frozen. Okay, come on. This is horrible connection.
Yeah.
Sorry, I waited. Okay, it seems to be working. Let's try. Well, for me, having that feeling like the other shoe was going to drop is out. It's like a weight on your shoulders. And when I got rid of that, I felt lighter. I felt happier. I was able to put resumes out there without feeling like I freeze again.
Yeah, it's a little wonky.
And I don't know why, because I've got a Wi-Fi booster right beside me.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to turn my video off. Let's see if that does anything. Because we don't need to see me.
So I don't know what you.
Yeah, so tell me more about how the feeling lighter and happier that helped you put more resumes out.
Well, it's not so much putting the quantity of resumes, it's just I didn't feel like something was going to go wrong, or like there was hope there, whereas before it was like, oh my god, I've done this 1,000 times and nothing's happened. So it's even just certain things, if something happens, my mind would always go to the worst case scenario, whereas it no longer does that.
Okay, and yeah, because I know, like, what was the process of sending out resumes kind of before we started working together, and then during and after? Because I know that, you recently said that you just got notified of this new job. I'm just wondering how that, like, your process for sending out resumes shifted, if it did.
Oh, it shifted huge, because it'd been so long since I got injured. that, and I had sent out so many, it almost felt like it was never going to happen. Right. So, and there was also, it felt like desperate because it's like, okay, the job I was stuck in wasn't paying the bills, you know, because of my injury also, it was very hard financially for us because of it, because I went from a good paying job to a very poor paying job. So there was that feeling of desperation to get something better. So this time I didn't have any of that. So when I started putting out resumes, it was like, okay, I'm just putting them out there and whatever happens, happens. And there was just no negative energy around it.
Awesome. When did that start? When, like, the putting out resumes with no negative energy?
I just started actually doing it recently. And I actually felt a nudge for this job that I just got. It was like, I saw
Oh, yeah?
this, I get notifications on my, and, you know, some of them I was just swiping to get rid of. It's like, yeah, I've applied for that. I've applied for that. And this one just popped out and it's like, oh, I used to work for them in a different position. So I'll try. And they got back to me. I applied on the weekend and I heard back from them on the Wednesday. And then I got the job offer today.
Heck yeah,
So
congratulations. And
yeah.
what's
And no interview.
what's that new job make possible for you?
Oh, it's going to make everything possible. It's going to put us back on track financially. It's going to possibly open up doors for me to continue my education in safety, like go take some more university courses, possibly become a life coach, possibly travel, you know, just everything that we've been putting off since I got injured is a possibility because of this job.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And so what were some of the things, how'd you make that shift from the other shoe's going to go drop, like the other shoe's going to drop, and that kind of desperate feeling for needing a new job to not having that negative energy around it? Like, what were the kind of things that made that shift for you?
Well, one of the things that really helped getting rid of that other shoe's going to drop is using Rhonda's thing, is it real or am I making it up? So every time I'd have that feeling, I would challenge it. You know, and during our studying course there, every time you gave me a challenge, I tried to push myself even further. So where you asked for gratitudes and acknowledgements, I tried to do it not just on anything, but the areas I was struggling in. So I could change my thinking on those specific areas.
Awesome. And when did you notice that those tools that we were worked on, like, were starting to have an impact?
I think probably within the first few weeks of us starting our studying course there together. Because my boss, who I've been asking for extra help and things like this, all of a sudden now he's wanting to help me out at work. Whereas I had been asking for 4 years straight, I needed extra help. And his response was, nope, it's not in the budget. All of a sudden, then he was like, oh, well, maybe we could do this to help you out, or maybe we could do that to help you out. So it was I noticed when I was changing, the people around me were changing.
Awesome.
And it's nothing that they were doing. Obviously, it was all me.
I love that. Yeah. So yeah, what do you attribute that your boss making that change from not really looking at helping you out to being looking out for you and looking to find you help?
I don't know. All I can say is I must have been setting out the right vibes after sitting there. When I would show up at work, and if I was letting the stress get to me, I'd feel cranky. So I probably took it out on a couple people, which I didn't want to, obviously.
Yeah.
But the more I tried to notice anytime the stress was getting to me and change it, plus I also tried to tap into inner joy. So I looked for any way to have fun at work. Anyway, dancing in the rain one day in the puddles, to throwing a bucket of water on my boss at a fundraiser, whatever I could do, I did it. I just said yes to everything. Singing and dancing at work, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I've loved watching your updates of what you've been up to at work. Yeah, so tell me more about that kind of journey you found for like expressing more inner joy at work. What was like work like before that, and then like what did you kind of like, what made you start focusing on that?
Well, after we did our wheels, and I realized that's something that's been really missing in my life, because it's always been I've been the responsible one. I've had to take care of everything. And I think that's why it was getting to me at work, because I had all these responsibilities. And the more I was accomplishing, the more they would give me. So it was like no end in sight, and it just felt overwhelming, right? And that's why I would ask for more help. Whereas once I started enjoying work, I don't know, the work really didn't change, but I changed. So the work didn't feel as overwhelming.
And what
And
impacts did that have of, the work didn't change, but you changed? Like, how did that impact other areas of your life?
well, definitely I wasn't coming home and complaining as much to my husband. So, and I was more aware of any complaining I did before. So yeah, I've changed that. I don't, do I talk about work sometimes? Yeah, but it's not, the frustration level is not there, right? So, but also the more fun I have at work, it seems to be rubbing off on everybody else, and they're having more fun at work.
I love that. And yeah, sorry for that delay. I was just having difficulties with the mute button. Um, okay, cool. And
That's okay. We've been having difficulties.
yeah, this technology is a struggle today. So what surprised you most about our coaching together?
That's a tough one. I guess that I could come so far in such a short period of time. Right? At the beginning, I was still feeling like I couldn't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. And by the end, I felt hope.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Just like things would work out. And I just felt at peace with what was going to happen. I just knew that everything would work out eventually. I didn't know when, I didn't know how. I was just more willing to go with the flow of whatever came my way. I was willing to take whatever showed up. If it was meant to be, I figured it'd show up in my life some way, somehow. And then I turned around and get my dream job. So that I gave up on before. That I gave up on before because I didn't think it would happen.
Oh, wow.
Well, because I didn't have the experience, and I felt I needed more education to get the job that I wanted. Because that's all I'd been hearing for 8 years, because our province has already been going through a recession. So the jobs just weren't that plentiful anymore.
Yeah.
So It was definitely, it was like the perfect storm between my hand injury, the recession, you know, there was just, it just didn't feel like there was any way to break into that profession.
Do you think, I mean, like a year ago, would you have even sent in that resume for this job?
Might have, it's hard to say, because what it is they actually had tuning the one for 5 years experience first. I probably wouldn't have, but I saw the one where they didn't ask for experience.
Ah,
But
gotcha.
it
Okay.
got to the point that, you know, when I was scrolling through my phone and I'd see all these different jobs, it's like I was, even before I applied for it, because I'd applied for so many of that type of job.
Okay. And yeah, and when we started working together, what specifically did you like want to get out of it? Like, what were you coming into coaching for?
Well, I had a one-on-one with Rhonda. She suggested study coaching. And I thought, okay, I don't know if I'll get anything out of it, but I thought at least I can help someone else get their goals, because I knew it was part of your coaching training. So I thought, okay, I can support somebody else. And then we set the intention originally was, or I said it, that I wanted to get my dream job or a good job. I didn't even care what at that point. I wanted a good job. And then within a couple weeks, you and I working together, we changed the intention into letting people in and being gentle. A huge change, because I not only reached out to my husband and my kids and let them know what I was going through, but I've joined groups, Fearless You, and I keep looking for ways to connect with others, which has been awesome. Like I've made some really good friends on our group, and we help each other talk through the problems. And even if I don't have a problem that way, it still feels good because I'm helping.
That's awesome. Yeah. Can you talk a bit more about that piece of letting others support you? Cause like what was that like before? And then what kind of shift did you have to decide to change that?
It was very hard for me to let anyone support me besides my husband, because I had been let down by so many people in my life, especially the people who should have been there to support me. So extremely hard for me to let others in. It's definitely changing.
Okay. Our connection's getting a little wonky again, it looks like. I didn't get too much of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think we'll probably just
Oh, I'm
let's see.
sorry.
That's all right. It happens. Let's see. Is there any other big wins that you want to share about?
No, I guess the biggest win has been getting rid of that other shoe's going to drop feeling,
Yeah.
and allowing others to know that, yeah, I can't always be the strong person. You know, I need support too, even if it's not someone who has a solution, just someone to share the problem with. But the
And
biggest one is definitely as well has been us, me deciding after we did our wheels is that I needed inner joy. That has been huge. Because I'll go through my whole day laughing now, whereas before the stress at work, a lot of times had me crying at work.
yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. What's like, how much are you experiencing
So,
joy on a daily basis now versus before?
I would say it's, that's a tough one, Brian. I find ways to have fun. The fence into it. Or no, that would have been got a good beat, let's start dancing. And other people start laughing.
Oh no, that was, yeah, that broke up again. I didn't hear much except it all came through at the
Oh my goodness.
end.
Oh my goodness. No,
uh,
I was just saying about having inner joy. It's very hard for me to put it down as a percentage wise.
sure.
That I find needs to have fun.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna cut that a little short then, just because of the um, tech issues. But is there actually, yeah, before we go, is there anything else that you want to share about our work together? For anyone who's listening, that anyone who's like wondering if they should get coaching or anything like that.
I would highly recommend it, especially working with Brian. You know, we had a lot of laughs, but he got me thinking, and I was able to challenge myself more with his help.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, thank you very much.
I hope that came through.
Yeah, it did. That part, yeah, at least the audio. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording.
Hey! We got